Praise the Lord. Welcome to my Bible School. Today we are learning about the summary of Genesis, date and place, written either while the author was a sheep herder with Jethro or at Sinai as an introduction to the law about 1688 BC. Author Moses, the lawgiver and the leader of Israel during the Exodus and wilderness wanderings. Proof of authorship. To establish proof of authorship for Genesis is to do so for the entire Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible called the Law by Jews and which formed the basics of the Hebrew theocracy. The word Pentateuch means 5, and the present books were originally one writing in 5 sections. The separation into 5 books is thought due the Alexandrian translators of the Septuagint, from which came the present names of the books as well as the word Pentateuch. We have 16 proofs that Moses wrote Pentateuch. God commanded Moses to write a book. Exodus chapter 17 verse 14 and chapter 34 verse 27. Moses did write a book. Exodus chapter 24 verse 5 to 7. He called this book the Book of Covenant. Exodus chapter 24 verse 7. It included the whole Pentateuch, which was considered by Jews as one book in 5 sections. Copies of Moses' book of the law were to be made for kings. Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 18 and 20. God recognized the book of the law as being written by Moses and commanded it to be the rule of conduct for Joshua. Joshua chapter 1 verse 1 to 8. Joshua accepted the book of the law as being written by Moses and copied it upon 2 mountains. Deuteronomy chapter 11 verse 26 to 32. He added the book of perhaps written the last chapter, Deuteronomy chapter 34, about the death of Moses. Joshua chapter 24 verse 26. Joshua commanded all Israel to obey the book of the law of Moses. Joshua chapter 23 verse 6. During the king it was the law. David recognized it. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 40. Solomon was charged by David to keep. 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 3. It was found and obeyed it Josiah and Israel. 2 Kings chapter 22 verse 8. Jehoshaphat had it taught to all Israel. 2 Chronicles chapter 23 verse 11 and 18. Josiah obeyed it. 2 Kings chapter 14 verse 6. Amaziah obeyed it. 2 Chronicles chapter 25 verse 4. Hezekiah obeyed it. 2 Chronicles chapter 30 verse 1 to 18. Prophets refer to its God law written by Moses. Isaiah chapter 8 verse 20. Ezra and Nehemiah both ascribe the book of the law to Moses. Ezra chapter 3 verse 2. Christ ascribed the whole law, all 5 books of the Pentateuch, to Moses. Luke chapter 24 verse 27 and 44. The apostle ascribed the law to Moses. Acts chapter 13 verse 39. For more than 3,500 years, it has been unfeigned belief of Jews, scholars, and the common people that Moses wrote the Pentateuch. Jews from their earliest history never questioned it. Heathen writers Tacitus, Juvenal, Strabo, Longinus, Porphy, Julian, and others agree without question that Moses wrote the Pentateuch. Religious leaders among the Heathen, Muhammad, and others ascribe it to. The Pentateuch was written by a Hebrew speaking the Hebrew language and cherishing the sentiments of his nation. Moses fulfilled this requirement. It was written by a Hebrew acquainted with Egypt and Arabia, their customs and learning, since Egyptian learning was carefully concealed from foreigners and was for priests and the royal family only. Moses was the only known Hebrew who could have fulfilled this requirement. Acts chapter 7 verse 22. There is an exact correspondence between the narratives and the institutions showing they both had the same author. The agreement in style of 5 books proves a single author. Moses himself plainly declares that he wrote this law. Statistics. First book of the Bible. 50 chapters. 1533 verses. 38,267 words. 1156 verses beginning with end. 1385 verses of history. 148 questions, 56 prophecies. 123 verses of fulfilled prophecy. 23 verses of unfulfilled prophecy. Shortest is 16, longest is 24. 16 chapter has 16 years. 32nd has 32 years. 5 chapters have 34 verses. 4 have 22, 24 and 32 each. 106 commands. 71 promises. 326 predictions. Praise the Lord.